Have you ever considered that while most people are competing for traditional job positions, there exists a select group of professionals earning millions of dollars in careers that hardly anyone knows about? Today, I will unveil 7 professions that offer such outrageous salaries that you might need to pause the video to digest the information. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about famous doctors or lawyers. No. I'm referring to careers that are completely off the radar for most Americans, yet they transform ordinary individuals into millionaires within just a few years. Before we dive in, let me ask you something. Did you know there are people making over $5 million a year doing something you never thought could yield that much money? That's right. What's even more fascinating is that many of these careers don't require decades of education or powerful political connections. Some of them you can start relatively quickly if you know where to look. Now, tell me this. Are you truly satisfied with what you're earning today? Because if the answer is no, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to reveal in the coming minutes. Each word here could mean the difference between remaining in the same financial situation for the next 10 years or discovering an entirely new path to wealth. The first profession that almost no one knows about, yet pays absolutely surreal amounts, is that of a high-level mergers and acquisitions specialist. I'm not referring to those entry-level analysts working at large banks. I'm talking about the professionals who orchestrate billion-dollar negotiations between corporate giants. These specialists earn between $3 million and $15 million annually, depending on the size and complexity of the deals they oversee. Let me explain why these figures are so high. When a tech company decides to acquire another for $20 billion, for instance, there is an extremely small team of people responsible for making that transaction happen without disasters. I mean professionals who need to scrutinize every financial detail, negotiate with dozens of lawyers, manage the expectations of billionaire shareholders, and ensure everything is finalized discreetly and efficiently. What makes this profession so lucrative is its rarity. There may be only about 500 true specialists at this level in the United States. 500. In a country with over 300 million residents. The demand is immense, the supply is microscopic, and the value these professionals provide is measured in billions. That's why they can charge millions. And here's a secret that few know. Many of these specialists started out as corporate lawyers or regular financial consultants and built relationships and expertise over 10 to 15 years. It's not a quick path, but it's also not impossible, as many might think. Now, before I move on to the second million-dollar profession, I need to ask you something very important. If you're enjoying this content and want to learn more about salaries and careers that nobody tells you about, subscribe to the Salary Uncovered channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any videos. And hey, if you know someone looking for a career change or wanting to earn more money, share this video with them. You can be sure you'll be helping a lot. All right? So, let's keep going. The second profession that pays million-dollar figures and is virtually unknown is that of a specialized hedge fund portfolio manager. I'm not just talking about any investment manager. I'm specifically referring to those professionals who manage highly specialized funds focused on very specific market niches, such as rare agricultural commodities, strategic metals, or complex derivatives of emerging market currencies. These professionals earn between $4 million and $25 million annually. Yes, you heard that right. $25 million. And here's something interesting. This amount isn't just a fixed salary. Most of it comes from a percentage of the profits they generate for investors. Typically, this ranges from 15 to 30% of the fund's annual earnings. Think about it. If a manager oversees a fund of $500 million and achieves a 20% return in a year, that's $100 million in profit. If he receives 20% of that profit as a bonus, we're talking about $20 million right in his pocket. Plus, the base salary could already be several million. What makes this profession so exclusive is that to reach this level, you need a proven track record of consistent returns over many years. Billionaire investors don't hand over hundreds of millions to just anyone. They expect to see at least 5 to 10 years of exceptional results. But once you demonstrate your expertise, the sky's the limit. And here's a curious detail. Many of these managers work from home or in small offices with teams of just 5 to 10 people. They don't need gigantic structures. They require brains, data, technology, and a lot of discipline. The third millionaire profession that almost no American knows about is intellectual property consultant for biotechnology and technology companies. These professionals are responsible for protecting, licensing, and monetizing extremely valuable patents in areas like genetic editing, advanced artificial intelligence, and medical nanotechnology. Salaries range from $2 million to $12 million a year, depending on the value of the patents they manage. Let me explain exactly why this figure is so high. A single patent for a groundbreaking genetic editing technique can be worth billions of dollars, literally billions. The professional who structures the licensing agreements for that patent negotiates with global pharmaceutical companies and safeguards that intellectual property from invasion and theft is creating measurable and direct value. When a biotechnology company develops a new genetic therapy that could cure a rare disease, the intellectual property consultant ensures that this company will profit from it for the next 20 years without competitors copying the technology. He is literally protecting billions of dollars in future revenue. That's why these professionals are so well compensated. Interestingly, many start as patent lawyers or scientists who have pursued a law degree. The combination of deep technical knowledge with legal expertise is extremely rare and highly valuable. There are probably fewer than 1,000 people in the United States operating at this level of specialization. Now, let's move on to the fourth millionaire profession: data infrastructure architect for cutting-edge technology companies. You might be thinking, data architect? Isn't that just another IT job? No, it's not. I'm talking about professionals who design and manage data systems that process trillions of transactions daily for tech giants, high-volume fintechs, and global streaming platforms. These professionals earn between $1,800,000 and $8 million annually. Let me tell you why. When a streaming platform has 200 million simultaneous users watching high-definition content, the data infrastructure that enables this to run smoothly is worth literally billions. If the system goes down for an hour, the company could lose tens of millions in revenue and even more in consumer trust. The architect ensuring that this never happens is safeguarding annual revenues that can reach hundreds of billions of dollars. This is why companies invest millions to have the brightest minds managing this critical infrastructure. And here's something that few know. Many of these professionals lack traditional university degrees. Some are self-taught individuals who have spent years studying distributed systems, global databases, and cloud architecture. What truly matters is your skill set, not necessarily your educational background. Of course, degrees from elite universities can be beneficial, but they are not as essential as they are in other professions. By the way, let me ask you something in the comments. Which of these professions has surprised you the most so far? The one in mergers and acquisitions, hedge fund management, intellectual property, or data architecture? Share your thoughts below because I'm curious to know which one piques your interest the most. And feel free to mention if you know someone working in any of these fields. Let's spark an interesting discussion here. Moving on. The fifth million-dollar profession that almost no American knows about is that of elite athlete and artist contract negotiator. You might be thinking, wait, I've heard of sports and entertainment agents. Yes, but I'm specifically referring to the negotiators who work behind the scenes on the biggest contracts in global sports and entertainment. Those who finalize deals worth $300 million for a basketball player or $500 million for an artist's residency in Las Vegas. These professionals earn between $3 million and $20 million annually, primarily through commissions that range from 5 to 15% of the total contract value they negotiate. Do the math with me. If you negotiate a $500 million contract and earn 10%, you just made $50 million in a single deal. What makes this profession so lucrative and hidden is that there are perhaps only 100 people in the world who operate at this level. 100. These professionals have personal relationships with billionaires who own sports teams, executives from global record labels, and Hollywood producers. They know when a multi-million-dollar opportunity is about to arise months before any news leaks to the press. And here's the secret. Many started as entertainment lawyers or former athletes who grasped the business side of sports. They spent years building trust and reputation until they finally gained access to the most exclusive circles. It's not about luck. It's about strategy and relationships nurtured over decades. The $6 million profession that practically no one knows about is that of offshore structuring and international tax planning specialist for the ultra-rich. Let me be clear, I'm talking about professionals who operate within the law, creating complex legal structures that allow billionaires and large corporations to minimize taxes through international jurisdictions. These specialists earn between $2 million and $15 million a year. And I'll explain exactly why. When a billionaire has fortunes spread across 15 different countries with companies in 20 jurisdictions, they need someone who thoroughly understands the tax laws of all those places and knows how to structure everything legally to pay the least amount of taxes possible. If a specialist can arrange a billionaire's assets in a way that saves them $100 million in taxes each year, do you think that billionaire will mind paying $5 or $10 million to that professional? Certainly not. It's an extraordinary return on investment. What makes this profession so unique is that you need to be not just an exceptional tax attorney, but also possess deep knowledge of international finance, complex corporate structures, and regulations from dozens of countries. Furthermore, total discretion is essential. Billionaires don't share their financial secrets with just anyone. They must have complete trust in you. Many of these professionals work in boutique firms with only 5 to 10 members, catering to perhaps 20 to 50 ultra-wealthy clients. They don't require hundreds of clients. They only need the right ones. And since we're halfway through the video, I need to ask you once again, if you haven't subscribed to the Salary Uncovered channel yet, please click the subscribe button now. This is the only channel providing real and in-depth information about salaries and careers that can change your financial life. Don't miss this opportunity. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, and become part of this community that is uncovering paths to wealth that most people don't even realize exist. Now let's move on to the 7th and final million-dollar profession that hardly any American knows about: proprietary algorithm developer for high-frequency trading. These are the professionals who create the complex mathematical algorithms that execute millions of financial transactions per second in global markets. These developers earn between $1.5 million and $30 million annually. Yes, you heard that right, 30 million. Let me explain this madness. A well-designed algorithm can generate hundreds of millions of dollars in profits for a high-frequency trading fund. We're talking about systems that identify profit opportunities that last milliseconds, execute transactions automatically, and generate returns before any human even realizes the opportunity existed. When a developer creates an algorithm that consistently generates $50 million a year for a fund, how much do you think that fund is willing to pay to keep that developer exclusively working for them? And more importantly, how much are they willing to pay to ensure that developer doesn't go work for the competition? This is an extremely aggressive talent war. High-frequency trading funds fiercely compete for the best mathematical minds in the world. They recruit PhDs in physics, mathematics, and computer science from the top global universities and offer compensation packages that include base salaries of $1 to $2 million plus bonuses that can be 10 to 20 times that amount. What's most fascinating is that many of these professionals work in small offices, sometimes with teams of only 20 to 30 people, yet they generate billions in annual revenue. The productivity per person is absolutely insane. And that's why salaries are so surreal. Now, let me share something that connects all 7 of these million-dollar professions I revealed to you today. Did you notice the pattern? They all share 3 common characteristics. First, they are highly specialized professions where the supply of qualified professionals is extremely limited. Second, they are professions where the value delivered is measurable in millions or billions of dollars. Third, they require a rare combination of deep technical skills with relationships or expertise that take years to build. This is the secret to million-dollar professions that no one tells you. It's not about luck. It's not about knowing the right people since birth. It's about identifying areas where you can become extremely valuable through deep specialization and then positioning yourself to capture a significant portion of the value you create. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you are an average software engineer earning $120,000 a year. You excel at your job, yet you are competing with hundreds of thousands of equally skilled engineers. Now, if you spend the next 5 years deeply specializing in data infrastructure systems for global-scale applications, studying real-world cases, contributing to relevant open-source projects, and building a portfolio of solutions for complex problems, you can position yourself to be hired by a cutting-edge tech company desperately in need of someone with exactly that expertise. Suddenly, you're no longer competing with hundreds of thousands of engineers. Instead, you find yourself competing with perhaps 500 professionals worldwide who possess the level of expertise you've developed. At these specialized levels, salaries soar from $120,000 to $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. It's an entirely different equation. Another example. You are a lawyer earning $200,000 a year at a large firm. A good salary, no doubt. But if you spend the next 10 years deeply specializing in intellectual property, specifically for biotechnology, studying not only law but also molecular biology, genetics, and FDA drug approval processes, you become an extreme rarity. And these extreme rarities that deliver measurable value in billions command million-dollar compensation. And since we're discussing specialization and value, let me ask you a question in the comments. Which of these 7 professions do you think would be more realistic for someone to start building a career today? Is it possible to enter any of these fields even if you're not on that path right now? Share your thoughts below, and let's discuss this together. And if you know of other million-dollar professions that almost no one knows about, please share those too. I want to learn from you. But now comes perhaps the most crucial part of everything I've said so far. How do you actually break into one of these million-dollar professions? Because it's pointless for me to show you 7 paths to earn millions if you don't know where to begin, right? First step, conduct an honest evaluation of your current skills and genuine interests. It's no use trying to become a trading algorithm developer if you despise math and programming. You'll give up halfway through. The people who reach these million-dollar professions aren't there solely for the money. They genuinely love the complexity and intellectual challenges of these fields. Money is just a byproduct. Second step, identify the profession that aligns best with your skills and interests and start studying everything about it. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Read books, academic articles, case studies, biographies of those who made it. Understand not just the technical skills required, but also the culture, the relationships, and the paths that people typically follow. Third step, begin building expertise systematically. If it's intellectual property and biotechnology, you might need to pursue a postgraduate degree in patent law while simultaneously studying molecular biology. If it's data architecture, you may need to spend 2 years developing complex personal projects and contributing to large-scale open-source projects while working a regular IT job. Fourth step, build strategic relationships. These millionaire professions are all rooted in networks of trust. You need to know the right people, and more importantly, they need to know you and trust you. This involves attending conferences, engaging in professional communities, producing high-quality content, and contributing to significant discussions in the field. Fifth step, be patient yet persistent. Most individuals who reach these millionaire professions spend 10 to 20 years honing their expertise and building relationships. It's not a quick journey. However, it's not as impossible as many believe. It requires consistent and strategic dedication. Sixth step, seek mentors who are already where you aspire to be. This might seem challenging, but it's more attainable than you think. Many high-level professionals are willing to mentor those who show genuine commitment and real potential. The key is to offer them value too, even if it's just by bringing fresh perspectives or assisting with small projects. Now, let me share a hard truth that's essential to hear. Not everyone will reach these millionaire professions. The reality is that these roles demand a rare combination of intelligence, dedication, opportunity, and yes, also a bit of luck in timing and circumstances. But what's more crucial, even if you don't attain those compensation levels, simply specializing deeply in any of these areas will put you in a financially much better position than if you continue doing what you're currently doing. Think about it. If you pursue a path to become a specialist in mergers and acquisitions but don't reach the 15 million per year level, you might still hit the mark of 500,000 or $1 million. That's still an astonishing financial transformation compared to most traditional careers. And there's another crucial point. The millionaire professions I revealed are just 7 examples. There are dozens, perhaps hundreds of other highly specialized careers that pay astonishing amounts but are unknown because they aren't glamorous or visible. The principle remains the same: deep specialization, plus measurable value in millions or billions, plus scarcity of qualified professionals, millionaire compensation. Let me give you a few more quick examples of other millionaire professions that didn't make the main list, but are equally astounding. Specialists in recovering assets from international financial crimes who work to reclaim billions stolen from governments and corporations, earning percentages that can reach 10 or 20 million in significant cases. Geopolitical strategy consultants for multinational companies operating in conflict zones, assisting businesses in navigating extremely complex and risky situations, earning between 2 and 10 million annually. Cybersecurity architects for critical national infrastructure like power grids and financial systems, literally protecting trillions of dollars in assets and essential services, earning between 1.5 million and 8 million. High-value intellectual property litigation experts, lawyers who litigate cases involving patents worth billions, potentially earning between 3 and 15 million depending on the outcomes. Do you see how the pattern repeats? Deep specialization, immense measurable value, brutal talent scarcity. That's the formula. Now, there's a question I know is on your mind right now. Are these professions sustainable? In other words, in 10 or 20 years, will they still pay those amounts, or will technology and automation eliminate many of them? It's an exceptionally insightful question, and I'd like to share my honest perspective. Some of these professions may indeed be affected by artificial intelligence and automation in the next 10 to 20 years, particularly those that involve data analysis and pattern recognition, such as high-frequency trading and certain aspects of intellectual property. However, professions that require complex human relationships, high-stakes negotiations, and strategic decision-making in unique situations are likely to remain extremely valuable and well compensated. Corporate mergers and acquisitions, elite contract negotiations, international tax planning for ultra-wealthy individuals, these fields are still far from being replaced by AI, as they rely on nuanced human judgment and trust-based relationships built over decades. Moreover, even if some of these specific jobs are impacted, the fundamental principle remains. There will always be highly specialized areas where demand dramatically outstrips the supply of qualified professionals, and these fields will continue to offer surreal compensation. While specific professions may evolve, the underlying economic dynamics do not change. Interestingly, as I studied these lucrative careers, I noticed that many emerged or skyrocketed in value only in the last 2 or 3 decades. For instance, global data infrastructure architecture simply didn't exist 30 years ago. High-frequency trading began to develop seriously only in the early 2000s. This indicates that new million-dollar professions are continually emerging as the economy and technology evolve. So, if you're paying attention to trends, studying the direction of the world, identifying complex problems that will arise in the future, and starting to build expertise to address these issues before most people even realize they exist. You can position yourself to be among the first specialists in an emerging million-dollar profession. Consider areas like quantum computing applied to finance and cryptography, or personalized genetic engineering and tailored therapies, or resource management in commercial space habitats. These are fields that, in the next 10 to 20 years, may generate entirely new professions that pay millions, as virtually no one has real expertise in them yet. Since we're discussing the future and opportunities, let me ask you one more question in the comments. Which emerging field do you think will create the next million-dollar professions in the coming decade? Artificial intelligence, biotechnology, space technology, quantum computing, sustainable energy? Share your prediction below, and let's see who gets it right in a few years. But now, let me share what I believe is the most valuable insight from everything I've shared so far in this video. The real secret isn't necessarily landing one of those specific professions I mentioned. The true secret lies in understanding the principle behind them and applying that principle to your own life and career. The principle is, become extremely valuable in something that is scarce and important. The scarcer and more crucial it is, the more you can charge. It's literally basic supply and demand economics, but applied to your career in a strategic way that most people never consider. Most individuals choose careers based on superficial interests, family pressure, or convenience. Very few select careers based on a strategic analysis of where they can create the most value with the least competition possible. And that's precisely what separates those who earn 50 or 100,000 a year from those who make millions. You don't have to work longer hours. In fact, many of these wealthy professionals work fewer hours than those in traditional careers. What you need is to work more strategically, developing skills that are genuinely rare and valuable, then positioning yourself in markets where those skills are desperately needed. And here's something that almost no one mentions. You don't have to be a genius to achieve this. You need to be strategic, disciplined, and patient. Many individuals who reach these high-earning professions are not necessarily the smartest in the room. They are the most focused, the most persistent, those who identified a valuable specialization opportunity and dedicated years to building expertise, while others jumped from one thing to another. Consistency often outweighs sheer intelligence. Someone who spends a decade consistently specializing in a particular area will easily surpass someone smarter who shifts focus every couple of years. So, what practical next step should you take after watching this video? I'll provide you with a concrete action plan you can start implementing literally today. First, take an hour today to list all your current skills, genuine interests, and areas where you already have some knowledge or experience. Be completely honest with yourself. Second, research which of these areas have potential for deep specialization and high demand. It doesn't have to be one of the 7 I mentioned. It can be any field where you identify immense measurable value, a scarcity of experts, and alignment with your abilities. Third, identify the top 3 skills or knowledge areas you need to develop to become an expert in that field. Be specific. Instead of learning programming, say mastering distributed systems architecture using Kubernetes and microservices. Fourth, create a 5-year plan to develop these skills. What courses do you need to take? What projects do you need to build? Who do you need to connect with? Which conferences should you attend? Detail everything. Fifth, start today, not tomorrow, today. Even if it's just an hour of studying or networking. Time will pass anyway. The question is whether in 5 years you'll be 5 years closer to a $1 million career or 5 years older doing the same things you are today. And look, I know this can all seem daunting or even impossible. You might be thinking, but I have bills to pay right now. I can't spend 5 years studying without making money. I completely understand. The good news is, you don't have to drop everything and become a full-time student. Most people who reach these millionaire professions built expertise while working regular jobs. They dedicated evenings and weekends to studying, building projects, and networking. Was it hard? Absolutely. Was it worth it? Just look at salaries ranging from $1 to $30 million and tell me. 5 years of strategic sacrifice can grant you 30 or 40 years of extraordinary wealth. It's an exchange that is incredibly worthwhile for those willing to make it. And there's another important point. As you build your expertise, you don't have to wait a full 5 years to start seeing financial results. Typically, after 2 or 3 years of focused specialization, you can already make significant salary jumps, perhaps doubling or tripling what you earn today. And then, with each additional year, those jumps tend to get even bigger. It's an exponential curve, not linear. The initial years are the toughest as you invest heavily while seeing minimal returns. However, once you hit a certain level of expertise and recognition, opportunities and rewards start to multiply. So don't feel discouraged if the first year or two seems slow. Keep investing, keep building, keep networking. Strategic patience is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Now, before wrapping up this video, I want to leave you with one last thought that I find incredibly important. All those millionaire professions I shared, those surreal figures, they are all real and attainable. But at the end of the day, money is merely a tool. It's a means, not an end. What truly matters is how you utilize this tool to create a life that holds meaning for you. Whether it's financial freedom to spend more time with family, resources to support causes you care about, the ability to travel the world, or simply the peace of mind of never worrying about money again. Don't chase millions just for the sake of millions. Pursue them because they will grant you the freedom and resources to live the life you genuinely desire. That's true wealth. And now, as we reach the end of this video, I need to ask you one last thing. If you found this content valuable, if you learned something new about professions and salaries you never imagined existed, please give this video a thumbs up. It greatly helps the channel grow and reach more people who need this information. And if you haven't subscribed to the Salary Uncovered channel yet, do so now and activate the notification bell so you won't miss the upcoming videos where I'll reveal more surprising professions and salaries that few know about. Also, share this video with someone looking to change careers or wanting to earn more money. You could be changing someone's life by sharing this information. And don't forget to leave in the comments which of these 7 professions surprised you the most, and if you know of other millionaire careers that hardly anyone is aware of. I read all the comments and will use your suggestions to create new content. Thank you for watching until the end, and I'll see you in the next video here on Salary Uncovered.